Running as old as humanity. Running is arguably the first sport. Long before civilization, early humans practiced persistence hunting, chasing prey until it collapsed from exhaustion. The earliest artistic depictions of organized foot races appear in Egyptian tombs, c. 2250 BCE. In ancient Greece, running was central to the Olympics beginning in 776 BCE, where the Stadion race, a 200-meter sprint, was the first recorded event. Distance running also had cultural resonance. The story of Pheidippides, the messenger who ran from Marathon to Athens in 490 BCE, inspired the modern marathon. Wrestling 15,000 years ago, present. Cave paintings in Lascaux, France, show wrestlers grappling as far back as 15,000 years ago. Ancient Sumerian and Egyptian art from around 3000 BCE also depict wrestling in detail. The sport became highly organized in Greece, where it was one of the most prestigious Olympic events. In India, Kushti wrestling developed as a martial and spiritual practice. Wrestling's simplicity, two people grappling for dominance, makes it one of the oldest and most universal sports, still practiced in nearly every culture today. Swimming 9,000 years ago, present. Ancient rock paintings in Egypt's Cave of Swimmers, c. 7000 BCE, depict humans swimming. The Greeks and Romans valued swimming for health, military training, and recreation. Roman baths often included pools. In Japan, swimming competitions were held as early as the 1st century BCE, and in medieval Europe it was considered an important knightly skill. Modern competitive swimming began in the 19th century, with the first Olympic inclusion in 1896. Archery 20,000 years ago, present. Bows dating back to 20,000 BCE have been discovered in Europe. Archery was originally used for hunting and warfare but became a sport in ancient civilizations. Chinese records from 1000 BCE describe organized archery contests, and in Japan, Kyudo developed into a spiritual martial art. England's medieval longbow competitions also reflect the sport's long martial roots. Today, archery is an Olympic sport, blending precision and tradition. Boxing 3000 BCE, present. Evidence of boxing exists in Sumerian art around 3000 BCE and Minoan frescoes from Crete, 1600 BCE. Ancient Egyptian reliefs also depict prize fighting. In Greece, boxing was a brutal Olympic event often fought barefisted. The Romans later adopted it with lethal results, using leather-wrapped fists studded with metal. Modern boxing, codified under the Queensberry Rules in 1867, retains the same primal appeal. Javelin and discus throwing, prehistoric, present. Both sports originated in hunting and warfare. The javelin was a practical hunting spear, while the discus likely evolved from throwing stones or heavy objects. The Greeks formalized them as Olympic events in 708 BCE as part of the pentathlon. These ancient contests were designed to test both combat readiness and athletic grace. Horse racing 4500 BCE, present. Horse domestication in Central Asia around 4500 BCE quickly led to competitive racing. By 1500 BCE, Egyptians, Greeks, and Babylonians were racing chariots, and later the Romans made chariot racing one of the most popular sports of the empire, filling the Circus Maximus with crowds of over 100,000. Mounted horse racing became a hallmark of nomadic cultures and medieval knights, evolving into the equestrian traditions still thriving today. Gymnastics, ancient Greece and China. Though acrobatic exercises likely existed in many cultures, gymnastics as an organized discipline developed in ancient Greece, where athletes practiced tumbling, vaulting, and balancing exercises as part of military and festival training. Similar traditions appeared in ancient China, with records of calisthenics used to improve strength and coordination. In Egypt, tomb art also depicts acrobatic feats, suggesting gymnastics was practiced across civilizations. Rowing, Egypt, c. 3500 BCE. Rowing was essential for transport and warfare in river cultures such as Egypt and Mesopotamia. The first rowing competitions are believed to have taken place on the Nile around 3500 BCE. The Greeks and Romans used rowing extensively in naval contests, and in Venice, gondoliers were racing by the Middle Ages. Oxford and Cambridge University began their famous boat race in 1829, continuing an ancient tradition. Fishing as sport, Egypt, c. 2000 BCE. Fishing was essential for survival, but the earliest records show Egyptians practiced it as leisure as well. Murals from tombs around 2000 BCE depict fishing competitions. By medieval times in Europe and Japan, fishing tournaments were popular among nobles and warriors. Polo, Persia, c. 600 BCE. Polo originated in ancient Persia as a cavalry training game and quickly spread across Asia. It was considered a sport for kings and noble warriors, often played with hundreds of riders. Polo spread to India, China, and later Britain, eventually becoming a modern global sport. Mesoamerican ball game, 1400 BCE, 16th century. The The Mesoamerican ball game, played by the Olmecs, Maya, and Aztecs, involved striking a heavy rubber ball with hips, forearms, or bats, aiming to pass it through stone hoops. It carried religious significance, symbolizing cosmic battles of life and death. Some games were tied to human sacrifice, underscoring its ritual weight. Versions of the game still exist today in Mexico. Field hockey precursors, Egypt and Persia, c. 2000 BCE. Carvings from 2000 BCE in Egypt depict figures using curved sticks to hit balls, resembling modern hockey. Similar games appeared in Persia, Greece, and among Native American tribes. These stick and ball games would later evolve into field hockey, ice hockey, and lacrosse. Lacrosse, indigenous North America, pre-1000 CE. While not as old as wrestling or running, lacrosse is the oldest surviving team sport native to North America. Played by indigenous peoples long before European contact, games often involved hundreds of players stretching across miles. It held ceremonial importance and was sometimes used to settle disputes. Kabaddi, South Asia, ancient origins. Originating in India over 4,000 years ago, kabaddi is a team sport blending wrestling, tag, and breath control. A single raider enters the opposing teams have to tag as many players as possible before returning, chanting kabaddi without pausing for breath. It remains popular in South Asia today. And there we have it, folks, the oldest sports on the planet. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment ideas of videos I should make. But until next time, it's a goodbye for now.